Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Contra III, the Alien Wars. Stinson and I will be playing this. It's a game I think I rented when I was a kid. I don't remember ever actually getting that far in it, to be honest. Hey, it's Red Falcon, or whatever his name is. Ugly asshole. The Alien Wars! Begin. Sorry. So apparently, like, these are the ancestors, the two guys from the two guys from the first two Contra games. Not really sure. We were playing through this and testing it earlier to get used to the weapons and everything. I'm also not going to tell you which one is me and which one is Stinson, because I want you to think that everything that's cool is something that I did. Alright, as you can see, if you've ever played Contra before, it plays very similar to those games. A lot of updated graphics stuff, different weapons, newer weapons. One of the big things that they changed is that, where you can do that little spin thing, which is really neat, because you can hold both weapons, you can fire both weapons as you're spinning. Kind of makes you a whirling dervish of carnage and damage. Here, if you recall, is one of the traditional things from the previous game. Easily dispatched. And something we learned from the initial playthrough earlier is that tank is dangerous, because when you fire the cannon, it lunges the tank backwards from the force of the blast. Well, if your partner just so happens to be standing behind the tank, that's it. That's it for me. Another one of these things. Okay, the spinning thing isn't working. Gotta get down there. Alright, so for anybody who doesn't know, Konami produces these games. This one was released in 1992. One thing I like is that you can't kill each other, because we would have done that 1,000 times over already. But you can steal each other's lives. And that's something to keep in mind. The graphics, of course, are like a major improvement. The step up between the Nintendo and Super Nintendo, but also this game pushed a lot with the graphics they had. And one of the things that I noticed, and I'm not sure if anyone else has noticed this, sometimes your weapon fire doesn't actually come through. Like you'll hear it. Yeah, bomb it. You'll hear the weapon fire and it'll do damage, but you won't actually see it on the screen. And that's not often. Plus, for the full disclosure, we are playing this currently on an emulator. But as you can see, weapon fire sometimes just doesn't do it. I remember when I did rent this as a kid, and I thought that was like the coolest effect ever, having the plane come in. One thing that the Super Nintendo did really well was taking images and bringing them from the background to the foreground as they grew. Super Mario World was like the first game that really did it, with Bowser at the end of the stuff. And, you know, this just killed it. But that effect always made me, I don't know, made me really happy. Especially when I was younger. The revamped weapon system is kind of cool too, because if you do die while die while you're holding one of them, if you weren't using the other one at the time, you get to keep it. This is kind of some of the new level design where you can hang on to different parts of the level. You can climb the sides of things. Come back here. And then, your first boss. Which is this giant mutated turtle that looks like, I don't know, something out of the H.R. Geiger painting. Giger, sorry. Sorry, everybody. I'm not gonna take this guy's shit. I mean, Simpson's not gonna take this guy's shit. Alright, so back to the turtle. We can do it. I hear that if you beat this on the hardest difficulty, the last boss has more to it. There's more phases for the boss. But this game is hard enough on normal, so yeah, I don't think you'll ever be seeing me do that. That's right, turtle. Suck it. That death animation. What is up with that? Yeah! Bad dudes. Not the right game, but it's the way I feel. Alright. Let's get on to the next stage. Oh no! I forgot. So, the SNES version of this game... Well, okay, it's not the version. So, this game has these top view stages, and they're wretched. If you see the red marks, I think it's the red marks, you have to take out all of those, and then you get to fight a boss. It's really hard to navigate. And the control scheme is different on this particular part, like where you do it, so it takes kind of a second to get used to it, and I don't know, I don't like this part, and I'm not the only one. So, here's the deal, there are two Contra games that came out, one for the SNES and then one for Sega Genesis. And the SNES one is the one that we're currently playing, the Alien Wars. And then, technically, the Sega Genesis one, storyline-wise, is a sequel, but I think they were actually made at the exact same time. I believe Contra Hardcore is the name of the other one, and it came out in 1994, I believe. There's some interesting enemies here, but oh god, I forgot about that. Really? I hate this game so much sometimes. But anyway, as I was saying, most people don't like this level, or these two levels. I think there's only two of them, if I remember correctly. And so now once you get all the red stuff, you can fight the boss here. I don't know. The bosses here just don't look nearly as good as they do in the other modes. And they're just kind of annoying. I mean, they can kill you, obviously, because this game is hard. But it was more just an annoyance factor. This boss fight in particular, also, if you can't get the angle correct, it just seems to take forever. I don't know. I felt like they could have done a much better job with this. And I don't know whose idea the top-down levels were, but it just wasn't a good idea. Maybe they were fans of Smash TV or something, I'm not sure. But anyway, not that we're playing that one, but the Genesis version, this is one of the few game series where I think the Genesis got the better Contra game. Got the better version of the games that were made individually because, well, okay, one, you have just this completely different array of characters. There are 4 characters you can choose from. One's like a dog or something, and then the other one's like a robot. I can't remember. And there are actually alternate endings, and the stages are just a little bit better. It plays almost the exact same. There we go. Oh, don't mind me. Just take your time blowing up there. Alright, so, new stage. I actually do like the stage backgrounds a lot for these. They look very cool, and they kept the kind of post-apocalyptic world thing to a point, so. This stage, if I remember correctly, also adds a lot of cool stuff with you see it's hanging from the stuff here. It adds a lot of stuff with the moving platforms that you can hang from, which makes the game more interesting. I don't know why, but this stage makes me want to have a Captain Planet and the Planeteers game on this stage. With your powers combined. Like, this is what I was talking about right here. So you have these where you can fire in different directions and it'll spin you, and they become more important later. These things. Annoying. I would like to say that the bosses get better as this goes along. There are a couple of them that, honestly, if you just find the right place to stand, they can't hit you, or, you know, it's just easy to dodge all their attacks. And there are 1 or 2 that are just not as creative. Spikes on that thing. I always thought this was an interesting part. Now, don't do like one of us did and try to hang on there. You gotta jump off when it's blowing up. And then missiles happen. There we go. Oh, this part. Okay, so this thing will follow you up the side, and it opens up and fires missiles and does some other stuff. I don't actually remember, but the one thing I do kind of remember about this part is it's about to kind of change. It has a second phase, so to speak, where its attack pattern will change. And you'll see it in just a second. Also, just kind of an interesting note, this is one of the few games you cannot use the Contra code on. Apparently in some of the like later versions of this game it was added back in, but they didn't want you to have the 30 lives for whatever reason. Alright, so now look at it, watch. It's going to attack us in a very phallic nature. And there are spikes everywhere, so you got to be careful of that. But anyway, so I don't think we're going to talk about this much more. This is Contra 3. It was really fun to relive. I doubt I'll sit through and try to beat this game. For anyone who's actually like played this all the way through and you want to share some notes on it or anything, you know, cool. But I think until then, this has been fun.